everybody, welcome to dryfiregun.com, and today we're going to be talking about the TacLoc holster in particular, but holsters like this, including the Serpa holster. There was well, basically there are a lot of ranges that have banned the Serpa holster out there because they feel it's unsafe. Me personally, why did I buy a TacLoc holster if I think it's unsafe? Well, I like this part of the holster. I just didn't like this part of the holster. So I got my trusty little knife out and I pried this piece off. So it's no longer a TacLoc, it's just a decent holster. It's an outside the waistband holster. Designed for the Viridian laser. Okay, so you can holster it with a laser light combo attached, pull it out. Now this TacLoc deal, which I could put back on here without any trouble if I wanted to, could snap it back in place. But the way it's designed is you push the button, and then when you pull the holster out, you're supposed to have your finger, actually they tell you that your finger's supposed to end up on the activation button for the laser. So you're supposed to pull this out of the holster and your finger's already on the laser ready to go. I think that's a program for disaster on a multitude of levels, in my opinion, okay? So basically, number one, even if you weren't going to push the laser button, if you push this or any Serpa button and you draw fast, there's a real good chance you're going to end up with your finger on the trigger. A friend of mine, who I'm not going to tell you who it is, but a friend of mine recently wanted to show me how great Serpa holsters were. And he's going to say, oh yeah, they're no problem. So he gets a Glock, and he puts it in the Serpa holster, and he pushes the button, and he draws it fast, and sure enough, his finger was on the trigger. And he was trying not to put his finger on the trigger, and his ended up on the trigger in the demo he did for me. And there was a fella, if you look up on Google, I shot myself, and the guy recently updated the video. I shot myself 1 year later. This fella had a Serpa holster, which isn't a TacLoc holster, but it's a similar kind of a design. The Serpa, the mechanism kind of goes this way, and you push the button and it pulls out, but it's a similar situation. I just don't think this finger, my problem with it is I don't think this finger should be used for anything other than pulling the trigger when it's time. My wife, who's a very, very safe individual, when she draws her weapon, I'm going to try and do it this way so you can see, she literally has her finger out that way, so it's not really even touching the holster, and she draws like this. Then she brings it up on target, puts her finger on the side, and then she finally, you know, takes her shot when she's ready, which is very, very safe. That would be impossible to do that, to have that level of safety if you're having to push your finger here just to get the gun out of the holster. And now this laser, like I told you, I do own this, so why did I buy it if I don't want to use my finger, my index finger, to push it? Well, what I do is I hold the gun like this and I use my thumb to activate the laser, okay? So that way I don't have to worry about this finger doing any other job than that. Even on a Ruger 1022 rifle, I don't have one here, it's got the safety up this way. My recommendation would be use your opposite hand, your weak hand, to activate that safety. Don't do it with your index finger, even though you very easily could. If you get out of that habit, then you know you're going to be a lot safer, even using something like a Ruger 1022. But that's basically it. I just don't find it to be very safe, but I like the holster. It was a great price. I recommend buying it. Okay, so if anything, I think I'll advance their sales, because a lot of people who wouldn't have bought it because of the TacLoc, you take your knife, you pop this thing off. I got this thing at Amazon for 40 bucks. I like the holster a lot. I mean, it clips in good, and you know, you don't need the TacLoc to keep it from falling out because you're climbing upside down or something, or struggling around. It's not coming out of there until somebody pulls it out. And as far as it being safer for somebody else taking the gun away from you, well, okay, they have to push the button. Big deal. They could potentially push the button, and of course then if their finger hits the trigger, where's the gun pointed? It's pointed at you, not at them. You know, and they don't have the training you've had with it to keep you from doing that. They're that much more likely, even if they didn't intend to shoot you. So I just don't think that's a viable option. Now I have holsters that have a thumb release where there's a ring that goes around the back of the firearm, and I have to push it this way to get the gun out, and that's fine, but because I'm using my thumb. Just like using a thumb safety on a 45. You know, you drop the safety, you know, it's ready to go. Put the safety back on. But I just don't think using your index finger to operate anything. Now, this laser does have a button on both sides, however, you know, that's just because I should use it, I think. This is not the way that apparently Veridian designed it, because that's not what they show in their demos, but I recommend using my thumb to activate it, and then if I switch grips, I'm going to use my other thumb to activate it. So whichever my strong hand is, the hand that's on the gun that's indexing, that's getting ready to fire that trigger when the time comes, that trigger finger does not operate anything but the trigger. It's the thumb that operates the light or the laser. And that doesn't even, I don't even apply that just to this Veridian. Any you know, light or laser that you attach to the front rail of your pistol. That's basically it. I think it's a good holster to buy. I think it's a good idea to modify it. And if you were somebody who really loves this holster and think it's a good idea, that's your opinion. This was my opinion. Okay. I would say that, you know, if you're going to one of these ranges where they won't allow you to have one, and you've got this TacLoc holster, you can pop this thing off, because from what I can see, it didn't damage it at all taking this off. I was careful about it, but you know, didn't have to be all that careful. And you could probably pop this right back on. In fact, I'll just see if I can do that real quick for you. I'll just go ahead and pop it back. Yep, it's back on, just like factory. Okay, if I pop this in, oh, it's not. Maybe I did break it. Or maybe it just doesn't. Oh, this is because I've got this on a Glock 19, and maybe this is made for a 17. So I'm not going to be able to demo that for you right now.